Hello and welcome to Eamon on Track. I'm joined today by Dave Mader and Davan Skelhorn to talk about the very best of Stan Rogers.
Hey,
the very best, except for my favorite cover that he does, which is not on this because it's a cover.
It's a cover?
Which Westmoreland? Yeah, it's an Archie Fisher cover.
Archie Fisher.
Archie.
Anyways, so this album was suggested by my dad, and I would like you to go on about why you suggested this.
Well, Eamon, as you are, hi everybody, by the way. I'm your dad, and and Davan, of course, our cousin. And,
this is where you get to spiel about us being royalty. Everybody, just sit down. It's a long story.
Just ease into this, and get ready for a night of proper education about your heritage, Eamon, us being Nova Scotians. And you being Ontario born, much like Stan Rogers, but with those Nova Scotia roots. And so learning about that folk music culture. A couple of people within our United Federation of Podcasts said, "Who's Stan Rogers?" And I said, you're going to learn something here by watching this podcast. Listen to this album and tuning in tonight to hear about the very best of Stan Rogers.
Yes.
14 songs? I think 16 actually. 16 songs on this album. Excited to talk about all of them. Some of them you've heard before, some of them you haven't. But even you,
yep.
I think it's 16.
I will say that for those who haven't heard of Stan Rogers before, he's like this very Maritimes-esque folk singer and almost like sailor music too.
Sailor, it's a sea shanty, if you will.
Yeah, well, Bears Privateers is definitely a sea shanty.
A sea shanty, it's got
that one he wrote after hanging out with a bunch of proper sea shantyers.
Yeah,
so he was just trying. That was like his rebuttal to the people he was hanging out with.
Like how different is folk music from country music? Really, there's a lot of connective tissue there.
Maybe I'll pipe in here. So here's what I would say about the music of Stan Rogers, as a Nova Scotian myself. So he does skew country at times, which very rarely does he skew kind of towards contemporary country, because he even said he tried to play contemporary music, but then
that makes sense.
Another one of the people playing contemporary music, so he thought he'd play something different. I believe his aunt or his grandmother suggested to him he should play Nova Scotian music, because that's where his musical influences came from. His grandmother's kitchen table down in Canso, which is no longer a town, by the way. And so it was dissolved. It was kind of a money loser.
Canso. Yeah, but of course, Stan Rogers not Nova Scotian. He's actually from Binbrook, Ontario. Also born there, but his parents had just recently relocated to Ontario right before he was born.
I'm pretty sure he was born in Hamilton. Actually, I was looking.
Hamilton.
Yeah, he's born in Binbrook is now part of Hamilton, but Binbrook was at the time a smaller town.
Okay.
Sort of out there towards Stony Creek,
So, what I was saying about the style of music. So, there's some folk influences, but when he's playing more of a country song, which is sort of what he does. He's like folk country, but like it's Nova Scotian folk country. So it's like it has these like Celtic influences, but it also has also like what I would call Scotian country. Country's a little bit different in Nova Scotia. It's a little swingier, but also it's like it has like the Acadian influences as well, like the music that would become Cajun style music and Zydeco and things like that.
I can definitely see that with like the fiddle almost.
And I'll say this about Davan and I, of course, big Star Trek fans. And we love those Klingons who love to sing songs, tell stories through song. Great, glorious, but also, I think in Stan Rogers' case, some sad songs too. But a story about the history. of the people.
When you're singing about the sea, things often don't work out well.
It's always like, and then we floated away, and then it was all over.
That's the captivating thing about this. You're 100% right. Like, even if it's not your style of music, like, again, it's not my style of music per se, except for it kind of is, because I love like the Scotian influences of it. But it's the storytelling. Like, you could just listen to these as stories or as poems, and they would be captivating, because they're just these stories of tragedy on the sea and other real life things, like other songs we'll get into when we bring up
the other thing I love about it too is that, like, there are some songs on this album that are like, traditional romantic, like I got a girl and you're like, whatever, you're my favorite girl or whatever, and some of them are about tragic love loss or whatever, but it's also just about ships and how much you love a ship. And like
most of these ladies' names are ships.
They're ladies' names, and a lot of these songs are about like that the ship was gone forever, and then it was that my life was over. And it's like
Jeannie C's not a lady. Jeannie C's a boat.
A boat, yeah. Or I think even the what was the other one song? The Last Watch. That's not that you. First time I listened to it, I'm like, this song's about a murder or something, right? And I go, no, it's about a ship.
That one is actually about Out Your Way. That's about a lake steamer out in the Great Lakes. That one. That's the one that's
right. You listen to these songs the first time and you're like, oh, they're singing about, like, he's like, they dragged her dead down from Tobermory. You're like, oh, who died? What woman got killed up in Tobermory? No, it was a ship.
Yeah, I was interested about that too.
Right. Yeah. Anyway,
I've been in Tobermory before, so that part always caught me. Of
course.
So it's definitely like Nova Scotian music through and through.
Oh yeah, for sure. But also just very Canadian in general. Too.
Canadian, Ontario as well. Like a couple of these, like White Squall is on this album, and it's all about a Wyerton girl. It's Northern Ontario.
And we were just talking about Tobermory too.
Right, that's up that way.
And some songs are like, is there any more beautiful, more powerful song than Northwest Passage in existence? You know what I'm saying? Like, and it can't be like replicated. Like, you can go find tons of covers of a cappella groups doing Northwest Passage, and none of them hold a candle to Stan doing it, and the fella.
That's the kind of crazy thing about Stan, is that he had this very deep,
powerful,
soulful voice.
Like, that's the thing.
Baritone.
Kind of the point I wanted to make about The Witch of Westmoreland. When you go listen to the original version by Archie Fisher, it's a good song. It's a very, very nice song. But then when you give it to Stan Rogers, that's where you can really see the difference of power that he brings to a song. It's just like,
yeah, this guy was only like 33 when he died. Most of these songs are recorded in the 70s, and so he's like in his 20s, like in like 30, like
everyone looks
early
50
30s,
yeah.
Everyone, but he's like he's already like completely bald at, like, in his late 20s. It feels
like he looks like he's like 40.
Even older. Like, I'm 40. I'm about to turn 41, and I feel like this guy's much older than me, but he's actually much younger. Looking back.
Well, I'll tell you something about Stan Rogers. He looks like a fella from Canso. Like, he's got the same shoulder bit, like the build of a fella from Canso. Like, he definitely had a parent from Canso, and I believe his other parent was from Pictou County.
Interesting. Yeah. Anyways, let's talk about the cover for this album.
I mean, it's a best of. It doesn't.
That's fair. I agree that it's not quite the same.
Like, I felt like if we had picked any of his original albums, we would have been leaving out some of his big songs. I didn't know if we ever could get around to doing another Stan Rogers album, so I felt like this was the best option to make sure we got most of his big hits. Although there are a couple of notable songs left off of this album too.
That's
but it's a nice photo of him just like singing a song in a chair. So after he died, his family, of course, it took over the estate, and so they released this in like 2011. This album.
2011.
Who died the day I was born, March 20th, 1984.
No, Davan.
Was I wrong about that?
You're incorrect, but now I had to hit you up with this theory I had, right? Because he turns out he died in June of 1983. right?
Okay. Why did I
Um,
think that? It must be somebody else.
But I feel like maybe, but if you trace back 9 months from your birthday in March of 84, it goes back to June of 83. And so maybe you were conceived at the death of Stan Rogers. You know,
That
and maybe
makes
you are
sense.
the reincarnation, perhaps.
I always wondered if I was Stan Rogers.
So just
I mean, I have hair.
Yeah. So
Yes.
that's genetics. This is reincarnation. It's all different science. So
Of course. Mhm.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a nice little song.
What's the map
Or-
in the background of Nova Scotia or something?
It's
Or
just a
where?
map, I think, somewhere.
Oh, well, there's the Hudson Bay.
It's a Canadian map.
Yeah.
So, tracing back to the roots.
Oh, it's the Northwest Passage. It's
Oh.
like that's up over. Yeah, that's the Hudson Bay.
Oh, it's the
right?
Northwest Passage. Okay.
Yeah.
I will say for a best of album, this does what a best of album cover needs to.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, I mean it's nice. Yeah.
What else? Yeah, it's a nice font.
Yeah.
Script. So you want to talk about the
I think
songs?
it's high time we get into the songs. Yeah.
I like how you
All right.
moved the album cover to the front of the show. I was going to suggest you guys do that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Fogarty's Cove, his smash hit, his also of his self debut, or like that was the title of the album, his first album, like in 1970, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then he bought the studio that he recorded it at, and then released all his own music.
Fogarty's Cove.
Yeah, but down in Fogarty's Cove,
Fogarty, it's pronounced.
Fogarty. It's a nice little.
There's a lot of
shanty.
Fogartys in Nova Scotia.
You know,
We can
it's
play a
only
little bit of
2 minutes.
song.
It's two and a half, like not even 2.5 minutes. It's kind of short. So
this is the kind of music you hear when you're just like walking around a county fair in Nova Scotia, like this kind of stuff, like strong on the fiddles.
You guys hear that?
No,
not yet, because you have to share.
you have to
Hold
bring it into the.
Okay. That's right.
Now we can hear it.
Okay, now you can hear it. Okay, excellent.
Play it.
Yeah.
We just lost sight of the Queensport light down.
I can definitely very much see what you mean by the country.
That's a lot of fiddle. It's
Yeah, but that's what country music sounds like around here.
Yep.
Like it's not slide, it's not steel guitar you hear like a southern or more contemporary country.
I think he mainly used a 12 string, from what I was reading.
and you well, makes sense. Big guitar.
Yep.
And you get a lot of like things like spoons and stuff like that in Nova Scotia music.
Yeah.
Like this isn't my favorite song of his, but like I really like it's a good one
It's
to
a good
start the
song.
album.
But
It's
do you
a good
guys feel
song.
like I feel like it makes sense for it to be
The first
Sets
song
the tone.
Yeah.
Sets the tone.
It's
Gives the setting as
right.
well.
it's also just very important to him as an artist.
His company became known as Fogarty's Cove Productions. Or
Fogarty,
something.
it's pronounced Fogarty.
Fogarty. Out in Ontario, we say Fogarty.
What? That can't be true. All right, I'm looking that up.
Fogarty.
I'm pretty sure it's full of shit.
Now pronounced Kejim Kujik.
Yeah. What's the song about?
It's about
This one I don't know. He tells much of a. I guess he does tell a story, but he sings so fast. I have no idea what's about.
This
So, like,
one's just
Fogarty's
about like
Cove.
this is just like a real life story.
Fogarty's
Like,
Cove.
he's just, like he
Have
does
you
a lot of
been
like
paying attention
everyday
to the
life.
name.
That's how I pronounce it. I don't know. I haven't got it by now. It's not gonna happen. Fogarty.
Fogarty. Yep.
Why not Mader's Cove a song, Eamon? Down in
yeah.
Mader's Cove.
I'll write that one for you.
Yes, exactly. That would be
Down
interesting.
in Peggy's Cove. No,
There are songs about Peggy's Cove.
yeah. No songs
Yeah.
about Mader's Cove yet. So, Eamon, you wait,
Right.
or Davan, or both of you can write that.
Yeah. Co-write.
Yeah.
Well, once I reclaim McNabbs, I'm going to write a song about that too. We're taking it back.
Fogarty. No,
Fogarty.
move on. I don't know how to say it. So,
All right, let's move
Good
on.
tune. Good songs.
Good
Good
tune.
set the tone.
good tune. Like,
Free in the harbor.
Free in the harbor, as it says.
That says
here.
harbor, even.
Ooh, it does. Sorry, I was whipping these up like
We don't want to
10
go to the
minutes.
harbor. Okay, Free in the Harbor.
Harbors are
is-
never free.
Yeah, Free in the Harbor is a song. It's really a story about guys from Newfoundland, whalers who have to move out to Alberta to work on the oil fields, and how
A lot of songs are about that.
They're still from that now they're working at the oil fields, but 2 years ago they would have been whaling and then going for where the blackfish are free in the harbor and whatever, right? I really like the song. Just mute
Well, it's
melody.
blackfish at play.
I really like the chorus of this song.
Yeah, his choruses are always awesome.
And whenever he's singing, he always sings it so well. So it's very full, rich.
And they wave.
And
And the
you're
best way I can
with him.
describe his voice is that I feel like I'm with company.
Yeah, his music's a kind of addictive. Like even if it's not the kind of thing you listen to, once you start with music, you'll want to keep listening to the rest of it. I think.
More fellas been leaving their homes where the
Yeah, that's a good
waves
one.
make free.
Free
In the harbor.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
This
lot of
is one of my favorites.
Those
Yeah.
are the real life ones that he tells.
Dad was
he's
introducing
telling the life.
this when we were listening to the album or before we did. And I think this is one of my favorite new songs of his.
It's a good one. It's a bit like that's the thing. He's either telling stories of like tragedies on the sea that happened like before his time, or he's telling the stories of what life was like for generally Nova Scotians and East Coasters, despite the fact that he was born in Ontario and all that. He's telling stories of East Coasters often that have to go out west to make money. Like a lot.
I think
And that's still a thing. That's still a thing.
He's speaking to how about like East Coasters do have a distinct Canadian identity that even when they move to Ontario, Alberta, whatever, they're still taking that with them. It's still part of who they are because a place and a way of life, if you're a fisherman or whatever, is definitely going to be embedded in you, especially after many generations of living that. And sort of this idea of like, this is who you are as a people.
The air is different. Like that's the thing I notice when I go more inland. The air is a lot different.
Oh yeah, when I go out east, I'm like, oh yeah, salt air. I'm back. So it
smells
different.
good.
The salty.
But this is a great one. Another song on this same theme will come up later. That is one of my favorites as well.
Two songs on this have harbor in the title. Like it's, we're definitely nautical in theme here.
No. Yeah.
When you leave the harbor, the waves get big,
Right. But yeah, just I love this is telling a story. Like I think it's like kind of a great Canadian folk song, all around.
And he is someone who's like, as much as some people in the United Federation of Podcasts might not know who Stan Rogers is, he's a big name in the folk world, despite his short run.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, a lot of artists had very short runs, and look how iconic some of them are. Like,
true,
and whatnot.
27 Club.
Yeah, exactly.
But folk music, it's usually people playing into their 90s. The folkies don't usually have the short runs.
Well, if he had lived into his, if he was still alive today, how many more songs would he have written? How many more albums would he have done?
Hundreds. He was such a strong writer. Like he's just a great storyteller.
And he was just pumping out albums like every year.
Oh yeah,
if you look at his stuff, right? Over that short period, he had his own studio and everything else, and he would have kept going with that, right?
For sure.
Like the collaborations, likely he would have done as well.
It was a pretty tragic death he had too.
And he didn't die from the crash; he died from smoke inhalation.
A fire, because there was a fire on the plane, and they didn't know it was a fire on the plane until they opened the door. They wouldn't have opened the door if they knew there was a fire, because it was exactly what happened was some of the people got off, but then when the oxygen came from the plane, then it ignited the atmosphere basically, and everyone, it's a flash fire. Everyone got killed basically.
Apparently, he got suffocated specifically.
Yeah. Well, they don't even really know how everyone died. It was pretty horrific, but so.
And apparently, he was staying to help someone, and if he hadn't done that, he probably would have lived.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it's anyway. Free in the Harbor.
Free in the Harbor. It's a great slow song.
Yeah.
Really good. All right.
Like he makes them more interesting. Like a song that could be boring played by somebody else.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He adds to it.
All right. On to the next track.
White Squall.
White Squall. One of his best. This is a great one.
He's an amazing player, by the way.
He
This is a great
fantastic
story.
Now it's just my luck to have the watch with nothing left to do.
Gotta watch that copyright, Eamon.
Sorry.
That's one of his big ones.
Yeah, that's fair.
I can't imagine the ghost of Stan Rogers is coming after us, but we'll see.
Well, the estate of Stan Rogers.
It'd be Nathan Rogers coming after us.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Anyways.
Well, one thing mention what a good player he is. I've been playing a little Stan Rogers the last week or so, like in preparation of this on this thing here.
Yep.
It's hard to play, man. Even the songs that sound easy are hard to play. His strum rhythms are strange. Like it's hard to play.
It sounds very distinct. Like when you listen to his guitar playing, it's not like a lot of others. Like
that's the 12 string as well.
Yeah, that's very much.
Yeah, it's a different instrument I'm not as used to, but just like in terms of these melodies he goes with and sort of how his deep voice kind of goes against a lot of that, like, you know, more chimey stuff. I run to this song a lot, you know, which doesn't seem like a run song, but it actually like has a very like interesting rhythm, and especially when it gets going in like the chorus and everything else. But you know, this story about this kid who dies on the Great Lakes of Ontario. He went into a white squall. You know, he told these kids 100 times, don't take the lakes for granted.
Yep.
They go from calm to 100 knots so fast they seem enchanted. You know?
He definitely has his nods to the Great Lakes in that area as well.
The Wyerton girl. She's a red-eyed Wyerton girl looking at, you know, she loses her husband, or because he just wed her. They just got married. He's on this ship, and he's the best deckhand ever. You know, you never had to find him work to do. He was always doing stuff. He was always the first to sing. They sing out there on the ships. You know, the sea shanties. It's part of the life on the lakes. And,
part of not getting depressed.
God damn them all.
God damn them all.
Yeah.
But like, this is a great song. This is one of his most popular songs too.
Yeah, for much so.
It's probably not in my top 5 off this album, but it's a good one.
It's really good.
I'd say it's in my top 3 even.
I don't know. It's very much just singable. That's one of Stan Rogers' best qualities to me, is that you can just sing along to it.
Oh, yeah.
There's a great cover. I've many great covers of his songs, but this one has got some, because it's a popular song, it has some really good covers out there. That I'd recommend. It's just like one of my favorites. Definitely.
Good song.
Yeah, no, I can't. It's really good. I always wonder when they say he went to a white squall. I don't know what that means.
A white squall is a snowstorm, a very windy snowstorm.
That's it.
Yeah. So he's like, you know, and he tells this whole story about how he's like, he was holding on, and then he got.
Oh no, wait. White squall. Sorry, white squall is like white cap peaks, like big ocean storm.
Like a glacier.
No, like you're getting like a lot of big waves with white caps.
It's like the big waves,
right? Oh, I see.
When a wave rolls over,
you know when like Lake Ontario gets really choppy.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like that, right?
Okay,
that's a white squall. My bad.
Yeah.
You know, and they go from calm to 100 knots so fast they seem enchanted. They're mad. It's magic out there on the seas or the lakes. Don't take the lakes for granted.
There was a movie called White Squall starring Jeff Bridges.
All right.
What else? What's the next one?
Let's go on to Make and Break Harbor.
Second song with Harbor in the title.
Yeah.
Harbor? Make and Break Harbor?
This one's a little slower. This is almost a country vibe to this one.
Lies the bay in the light western air.
Again, sung by somebody else, I probably wouldn't like this song at all.
But it's his
sung
song.
by Stan, it's not bad. It's not my. It's probably my.
Like skip ahead even to like the chorus.
Yeah, his choruses are so good. Yeah.
This song, like, it takes a while to get into it. Keep going. You have to go.
It's so hard. Where we seldom they all move to the.
It's like this song is like halfway through before he gets to the chorus.
And the one break harbor.
Here it is.
Too many.
This one's more contemporary. It's got like the steel guitar happening.
No, I definitely like this song. It's just I think it's a little slow to start up compared to his other songs, and does sing something.
Lost
Great
lost
song,
and
just one of the
Okay.
lesser songs in my opinion.
And-
Great
okay,
song.
this-
Bottom
this
3 for
song-
me.
Another storytelling song about, like how the nets are all hung up and dry and it's all forgotten, like because I don't really know what the make and break harbor. I guess it broke. They didn't make it. They broke.
Well, it's like, I mean, the fish are there or they're not.
right.
Like you might go out and make a fortune. You might go out and find poverty.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
death.
Right.
Like,
It could be like in Forrest Gump when they catch all the shrimp and it's all blowing
yeah,
up
like
for them.
fishing before fish finders and sonar and all this stuff was like gold mining. Like, you might find gold in them Nar Hills, but you might just spend your life in misery.
And how much money could you really make selling fish? Like so
Well,
it's more with
depends
gold,
on
I
the
would think.
fish. You could go out to Canso right now and get yourself a bluefin tuna. When you get back to the dock, there's somebody waiting to buy it from you from Japan.
Tiny fish
Crazy.
from Japan.
Yes.
Tiny fish, but they want the big fish.
Now what they moved up to the big fish for Japan.
Oh yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, you can make a month's pay just catching one tuna.
This is one of my favorite songs on the album for sure. I would, I'd say it's top 5 maybe.
That's interesting. I would say it's on the lower end of this album for me, just because I like it once it gets started. But like you said, it's like halfway through the song.
It's like, once like you finally get to the chorus, which again is halfway through the song, and then he repeats it a few times towards into the end. So it's a different structure.
Little too contemporary for me with the steel
A
guitar
couple-
and everything.
A couple of his
And,
songs are too long, but I don't think this is one of them.
It's my
No.
least favorite ones too. Like my least favorite songs on here are the ones that are like 5 minutes long.
And
They're
you're
all
like,
good.
come on, man, just like
Yeah.
how you're really going around for another one. And so,
Yeah,
but we
I
haven't
know.
got there yet. But this is a good one.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyways, now we move on to what is the song I got introduced Stan Rogers on.
That's
For
the
a
song everyone got. You're missing an hour in Barrett, my son.
It's 2 hours.
Is it 2 hours in Barrett's?
matey.
It's
You have
Barrett.
to remember both hours in the Barrett's privateers.
Captain Elson Barrett.
Yeah. Elson Barrett cried the town. How I wish I was.
I
in
wasn't
Sherbrooke.
Sherbrooke.
In
No.
Sherbrooke now.
This
This
the
is like,
one-
look,
yeah.
the one thing
everyone loves.
everyone loves it except for Stan Rogers, which is the one, like, I love this song too, and it is Canada's greatest sea shanty, is what it's often called. Or
I
Canada's
think that there
greatest
is a great
he didn't
strength
like
in the
it.
song being completely instrumental.
You mean vocal?
There you go. Anyways, I think there's a great strength in the song being completely instrumental.
You mean vocal?
Sorry,
Acapella?
vocal. Yeah, acapella.
Yeah, it's just it's people stomping their feet, clapping their
Yeah,
hands.
there's clapping
singing.
and stomping. That's it, right? There's no like
Yeah.
musical instruments. It
No.
doesn't need it. It's a great
Sea
story.
shanty doesn't need that.
Like I like the song. I don't like. I think I've heard it too many times. I feel like I'm more
Everyone
Stan
has.
Rogers. Where Stan Rogers is like, I have other songs, but
Yeah,
this is
he
probably the
hated it
one-
because it's what everyone wanted to hear, and it's the least representative of his style of music.
Right.
Funny how that often happens. So
He's
often
like, I'm not a
happens.
sea shanty guy. Like I play folk country, and
Yeah.
everyone thinks I'm a sea shanty guy. Yeah, so
No, not
he
at all.
would change the lyrics up, and he would be like, and we cruise the streets for American boys, and like he would say stuff like that just to see if people would notice, and like no one would notice, and he'd be like, "Oh,
It's
no.
crazy.
Yeah. But the song's like, it's a great drinking song. It's a song you just want you want to stomp your feet to. It's a great pub song. It says Halifax right in the name. I still don't understand why he wants to be in Sherbrooke specifically. that part
Sherbrooke
of-
doesn't even exist when this song takes place.
Nova
Sherbrooke,
Scotia?
Quebec.
Or Sherbrooke, Quebec. Which one?
Sherbrooke, in Nova Scotia, I believe.
Sherbrooke, Nova Scotia. What can you tell us about Sherbrooke, Nova Scotia, Davan?
She's not much. It's like a village. Like,
Now it's a village.
and,
Back in
I'd be
1778.
I'd be
It didn't
surprised if
exist
it
yet.
didn't. I
It
mean,
didn't exist yet back in 70.
No,
Right.
most things in Nova Scotia did exist by then.
Yeah, but this is
That's
not
the thing.
this is not a historical song.
Like,
This is
that's the
a
thing.
song
Nova
you-
Scotia, some people don't realize, is significantly older than the rest of Canada as far as European settlement goes. Like,
It's one of the earliest colonies.
yeah,
overall.
like so, like most of these towns in Nova Scotia were around
Yeah.
Long
like a
ago.
lot, like
I
Portuguese Cove and like stuff like that was because it was a layover for the Portuguese, like back before Columbus.
Oh,
Hmm.
before Mader's Cove.
Yeah.
Maders Cove, like the Maders, we don't know. They're a mysterious bunch, those Maders.
I think we can all agree that this is an amazing song. And
It's a great song. It's iconic. I like it too.
If he didn't hate it, I would love it more. But
it's great storytelling again. Like that is the through line with his other songs. Even though, he might have like preferred to play a certain style. Like that's kind of what he always does, and that's why I'm always engaged with it. And he's a great vocalist. So like all those things combined,
so are his backup vocalists, especially the guy who sings the high, like,
the high part. I know, I love it.
Same with Northwest Passage. Whatever all the covers don't have is that.
It's that high pitch guy. I know, it's the best part.
He's so good. His name is Garnet, and he what a singer he was as well.
We'll talk about that like the Northwest Passage, but I prefer his son's version actually. But
what? Of Northwest Passage?
I have not listened to that version of Northwest Passage in a while. Yeah, his son has done covers of some of
Nathan Rogers. Yeah,
I'm not really familiar.
He covers a lot of his songs, and he's pretty good. Like he's not as good as his father, but I prefer that particular version because at least it has a guitar. So
really, I think that a lot of strength and
I would never add an instrument.
Anyways, we're getting ahead of ourselves. We're
getting ahead of ourselves. We're getting.
All right, get us back on track, man.
There's Privateers. Look,
come back to the Flowers or Bermuda.
Rewind for one sec.
Okay.
So great story. I mean, as much as, like you said, Dave, we've all heard it too many times, especially if you live in Nova Scotia where it gets played
all the time.
All the time. It's even on commercials and everything. But it is, every time I hear it, I start singing it. You can't not sing that song. Like,
you're legally obligated.
It's just it gets into you. Is it because it is?
Oh no, don't get me wrong. I get it.
The goddamn them all. Like, because it's so hilarious. Like, it's this young kid who's like 16 when he's like taken onto this ship, and he's like the goddamn them all. He's cursing everybody. He's cursing his crewmates. He's cursing Elsid Barrett. He's cursing the king for sending the letter of marque. He's cursing the Americans.
Damn them all.
He's like, they all suck. I hate it. I just want to be in Sherbrooke. Like. And then
this guy had it rough in this song. He
loses both of his legs.
And
he's like, here I am in my 23rd year. Yeah.
It took him 6 years to even
6 or 7
get back to Halifax.
And they didn't even get very far.
Yeah,
like
it's not a happy song.
And this is by the time he's 22 or something. Like,
I just love the name of the boat too, the Antelope. It just makes me laugh.
It was a sickening sight. It was like the worst ship you ever saw. It's called the Antelope.
And the cook's drunk as hell. He's in the scoppers with the staggers and jags. He's in the kitchen, drunk as hell.
Like, it's great. The cracked 4-pounders they made to fight Montego Bay. There's all kinds of great like imagery in the song. I wrote we Jeff threw this on at my mom's like wake, like we were all kind of wrapping up, and then we all kind of sang it and whatever. And I was like, I don't think this would have been my mom's favorite Stan Rogers song, but it was. But Jeff's like, this is Halifax. We got to play this for Halifax and do it.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair.
Your mom,
he has a point.
Yeah.
All right, now on to the next track, "The Flowers of Bermuda."
The Flowers of Bermuda.
I like this.
A lot of these songs on this album are recorded live, which is also
which is interesting. I think it gives it a nice sound to it.
Well, because a lot of them I think are just ripped from between the breaks in some other live albums.
Like this. Yeah, it's all right.
That's the best way to hear.
This is one of the lesser songs on the album, I feel.
It's not my favorite. It's okay.
I like this one. This one's also a very Nova Scotian sounding song, like it. Just like Fogarty's
The Flowers of Bermuda. There's songs I dislike more or not as my favorite, but this is okay. Like, I put this mid for me.
This is a good detail. It's the captain who's dreaming of the flowers in Bermuda, and then he crashes on the rocks and dies in the North Shore Shoals or the North Rock Shoals.
That's certainly an interesting story. I get the impression that Stan Rogers, he was not a very happy person in a sense.
No, I think
I don't think so. I think he was a happy guy. Like,
I think so too. I think he likes telling these tales.
I think about it. He writes some pretty depressing subject matter,
but I think he enjoyed passing these stories along.
Yeah,
bringing
like sad-
shine to a
sad and
part of the
happy.
world
He
that
does
doesn't
both.
have it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, but a lot of them are tragedies. They're on the seas, like Davan
yeah.
said. Like half the time you die.
Like
Yeah.
even some of these songs, they sound like tragedies, but he's actually just kind of describing East Coast life.
Yeah,
Understandable.
But
he's kind of
But,
like
like-
a rapper before his time. He's telling,
but the good
stories about
things
his home.
too. Like
Yeah.
we'll get to the song that describes that kind of East Coast Canada dichotomy eventually. We're getting there. But Flowers of Bermuda, I like this too. It's jumpy. I do like his more upbeat, jumpier ones generally, except for like the really powerful slow ones he has, like a Northwest Passage. Or,
I don't know. I think this is
Green
just
Arbor.
a good song. Nothing much more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Move on to Tiny Fish for Japan.
Tiny fish for Japan. Skip to like the chorus.
It's funny you didn't play a clip for Barrett's Privateers, but everyone's heard that one.
No, I didn't need
Yeah,
to.
we
That's
don't
the
need
thing.
to.
I didn't need to play.
I know the words by heart.
Yeah.
This song's really nice. I
like
Yeah.
this song.
like
Yeah.
melodically, it's really good.
It's got some nice harmonics going on there too at the beginning.
and it's
This
good.
one's
It's-
folkier than country. It's getting a
and the
little more-
story's sad again, but it's about these fishermen who they they should be able to have a little bit of their catch, and they're not even allowed to. They have to. They're catching these stupid little tiny fish for Japan when they could be, living off the not the land, but living off the sea and being
Right.
more like in tune with nature. And they feel deprived by these big corporations and the money and the corruption and the globalization of things.
It's
think
just
there's
been
a
a
lot of-
long, by Stan Rogers' time, it's just been a long time since the boom. Like Nova Scotia fisheries
Right.
were on such a downswing for
Yeah.
like even his and parents' entire lifetime, pretty much by then,
Mhm.
So it's been a while. There was some negativity by
Right.
that time.
Right. Okay.
Well, it's not unlike, in like the Rust Belt of the United States when like a lot of that manufacturing and jobs went away, and there was a lot of songs and pain music that came from that kind of stuff, and
But
uh,
one of the things that isn't maybe it's notable, but is significant is one of the things that really kind of sunk Nova Scotia economically in the ways he's talking about as well isn't even the fishery so much, because there's still fish. They come up and down. You leave them alone, they come back up. But Nova Scotia was world renowned for wooden shipbuilding, and once ships weren't built out of wood anymore,
They had
all these little coves, the Fogarty's coves and stuff, they had even tiny coves. They would have decent sized shipbuilding industries, and then
They're
all
gone.
that dried up. And like as soon as there were trains, like you invent the train, and all of a sudden
and the
Huh.
all
steel
these
ships
towns
that
became
came
and
later.
the, and the steel ships, like ruined everything.
So that's kind of the
Don't
idea.
don't throw all your eggs in one basket. Excuse me.
Tiny fish for Japan. Yeah, it's a nice one. This is like
A
upper
nice
for
one.
me.
Mid tier for me.
Yeah. Good.
Top 6.
Yeah, I can see that.
Is
Not
it
bad
really
at all.
18 on here, or is it 16? You said
16.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's a good one. Good tune.
Right. The last, watch on the
Midland. There's another one out in the Great Lakes.
This isn't even on this album.
Yeah, it's called The Last Watch.
called the last watch of the Midland.
Oh, I thought we were doing the Westmoreland for a second. It's just called The Last Watch.
Yeah, it's called The Last Watch. But the Midland is the boat.
Dead. And you're like, who died? They killed somebody and they dragged her down.
This is the one where they're talking about Tobermory and stuff, right?
But he's talking about
I really
ship.
like the use of piano on this song.
This one a little more contemporary as well.
It's like a ballad almost.
Yeah,
it's like
pretty
a
much.
ballad.
I think I appreciate that. It's a bit of a change of pace.
It gets a little like dirgy for me. But
here to watch her.
It's another one that if it was done by somebody else, I wouldn't like it as much.
But it's really good done by him. It's like
Like
it's
if
his
Brian
song.
Adams sung this song, I would hate
No,
it.
I'd be like, no.
I would hate it. But
I can definitely see where you're going from it, Brian Adams. But I really like it.
It's
But like, some people's voices will fool you, but some people just sound like large people.
Yeah.
he does. Like,
Yeah, he sounds
if
like a
you
little
listen to
oat
Stan Rogers and then walked up to like some little 5'6" skinny fella, you'd be surprised. He's a big booming kind of canso guy. They grow him big in canso.
Down there in Canso.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really like this song. I think that you guys are right, a bit more contemporary, but I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No, he was just a good, well-rounded musician. He could have played a lot of styles of music and made a living.
Yes. I don't have much more to say on it other than that.
Canso's like up there towards not Cape Breton, but like
near
there.
Yeah. The Canso Causeway is what gets you onto Cape Breton.
Yeah, he's very much a fan of mentioning geography too, like Tobermory and whatnot. Which I
gotta have a link to the land, to the places.
Which is I just noticed in this song because I've been to Tobermory before, so it kind of struck a chord with me.
It's kind of what Northwest Passage is about too, right? Like, and traveling and exploring.
That's the one thing. Yet, as a Canadian, I feel some shame. I haven't been far enough north. I lived in like Jasper, but I haven't been proper Arctic yet.
It's been nice. It's nice, North Ontario.
I gotta get up. Well, I've been to Northern Ontario. I'm talking about the Arctic, not Ontario. Like where the Northwest Passage would be.
Tobermory isn't that north though.
These are about Great Lakes. I've been there. I'm talking about Northwest Passage.
The Beaufort Sea.
Yeah, I want to get up there. The Bering, not the Bering Sea. Baffin Island. Get up there. That kind of stuff.
Could be Gavin's hand reaching for the Beaufort Sea.
For the Beaufort Sea, exactly, and you'll find nothing but a lonely cairn of stones.
Yeah. Is that our transition?
Yeah. Oh no, we have an in-between song here.
Yeah, that's so. What? 45 years? This isn't on the album.
This is on the album.
What?
You know the song?
I didn't think this was on this album. Oh, it is. Oh, yeah, right.
Skip like
where the earth shows its bones of wind broke.
This is the bottom three for me.
This is like my new favorite song by him.
Really?
I hadn't heard it before. Like I said, we're doing this album, and then I listened to it. I was like, oh, I've never heard this one before. Oh, this is great.
It is, but
it's good.
Yeah.
It just doesn't stick out to me very much.
Like the chorus, like the middle of the song.
Get a nice little groove there.
The summer city out to find a friend who knows all the words.
Is that good?
Sings so she's heard and knows. After 23 years, you think I could find a way to let you know somehow.
It's before that. It's before that.
Wanna hold you closer than
this part. This is awesome. I love this chord.
Yeah.
You say you've been twice a wife.
It's a bottom three for me, or like bottom five.
Good.
The ones I don't like the most are the ones that if they were sung by someone else,
I just don't particularly think of it very much. Personally.
Yeah.
During my
the thing about Stan Rogers, even the songs of Stan Rogers that aren't my favorites, they're still good. You can't really go wrong with Stan Rogers.
All right. Yeah, one of the lesser songs on the album for me personally.
Yeah, me too.
What were you saying, Eamon? You do like it?
It's good, but like it doesn't stick out very much to me.
It doesn't stick out.
Yeah, I think Eamon and I are a little more in line.
I agree.
This might be number one for me. Number one on the album.
All right.
All right. I mean, there's like all-time great songs still on this album here.
Yeah.
But, all right. Fine.
This is top two.
This one's like it's just not uniquely cut. Here we go.
One time I would take the Northwest Passage to find the hand of
Listen to those vocals from everyone.
Acapella.
It's one of the best acapellas ever recorded.
One warm line
it didn't exist. Probably does now.
So wide and savage, and make a Northwest Passage to the sea.
Yeah, great song.
Great song. Another one of his almost sea shanties again.
But it's not sea shanty. It's more like it's a real folk song. It's a real
it's just a cappella again, I guess.
It's more like a sea dirge.
It's it almost belongs in church. It's the way they do it.
I don't hold my heart over national anthems. I do when this song comes on.
Oh yes,
I do like this version, but I think like if he had not died, I think he probably would have done more versions of this and re-recorded it, and we would have got swingier versions, and like
that would have been bad.
Not necessarily.
Don't try to make this song something else. Don't add guitar, Nathan Rogers.
I think that part of what makes the song special is that it's acapella.
Nathan Rogers' version also has a banjo, which makes it really good.
No, that's not what this song's about.
I think that the acapella almost makes me feel like, I'm not actually, I'm the instruments because I'm actually there on the like in person with the.
You feel it in your bones.
Yeah, almost with the crew in this story.
I'm going to prove this to you.
It's hard not to cry and hear this song. It's so good in this version. It's just there's no other version.
This
is gonna disappoint me, Dave.
Don't prejudge it. You might like it.
No, you've just like
you look a lot like your dad.
This is what it would sound like if anybody did this song at an open mic, which you can go down to Halifax and hear right now.
Nathan, that's his son.
He's not Stan Rogers.
He's not Stan Rogers.
He's bald.
He doesn't look like Stan Rogers' son. He's clearly Stan Rogers' son.
Yeah, he's clearly Stan Rogers' son.
But the voice, there's you can't compare any of this. Take it away. Sorry, Nathan Rogers, but no, Dave, no. Everything about that was significantly worse.
I feel like this song is kind of mimetic in my family because it was such an earworm for us for a while that we would just keep singing it even when it wasn't playing.
Great.
And I think
Betty, I played it a lot for Betty. I think he's over it. But I
and
like
the
that
story
song.
of that is fascinating too.
Yeah.
Like that. That Lonely Cairn of Stones is real. That is what they found from the Franklin.
Yeah, the Lonely Cairn of Stones. Like he's like, but just talking about like the adventure of going, up there and like, he talks about I think about David Thompson and the rest and going across the line. He doesn't mention Native Americans and Aboriginals and that kind of thing, which but it's that sort of whatever.
Well, it's some Inuit spoke of coming across some of the crew of the Franklin. Some of them tried to walk out. Some of them tried to stay with the ship, but they were locked up for years.
I mean that the song, like from a narration point of view, comes from like European people like exploring North America.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
So you have to kind of acknowledge that part of it. But
the Inuit were interested in a Northwest Passage. They didn't want to trade route to China. Like,
can't hear you, man.
Nova Scotia-ish, like north of there, down into like the Great Lakes.
Can you turn up?
Yeah, you definitely just dropped out in your.
Oh, sorry. I was saying the Northwest Passage, if I remember correctly, it was this area like south of Nova Scotia.
No.
North of Nova Scotia, and it kind of went down to the southwest into the Great Lakes.
No, that's the St. Lawrence River you're thinking of. The Northwest Passage was theoretical. I mean, it is open now. I remember hearing a story in the news like some years ago, not that many years ago, but now there is a Northwest Passage because there's melting.
It's melting. Climate change is causing melting. Yeah.
Back then, they got locked up in the ice for years. Like it was insane to even think there was. But they rather than go all the way down around South America, because there was no Panama Canal back then either, right? So to get
from England to
you either had to go around Africa or around South America, and they just wanted to cut across the top.
They wanted to see like a faster way of getting there, for gold and glory. That's what
you hear tales like. Because they would go and they'd see that
they were explorers, but they were also capitalists and trying to make money. And
100%.
Yeah, it makes sense.
That's what the song's about.
That's what. Yeah, it's like the Hudson's Bay Company. Like all of those companies back then, they were like, they weren't just businesses; they were also like these exploratory enterprises and ambassadors.
trailblazers, if you will.
Mhm.
You know, and like they took risk and sort of, and you know, and there was adventure, and you know, money. A
Yeah.
lot of money.
I mean, that's what that show with Jason Momoa will illustrate some of that. It's kind of in those kind of days,
Right?
The fur trades and whatnot.
But yeah, I have to give huge kudos to this song. One of the best.
One of the best songs ever, not just by Stan Rogers. It's just one of the best Canadian songs.
Yeah, no, it's great.
I've heard
Important part of Canadian.
people suggest it should be the national anthem.
All right, let's move on to
Lockkeeper. Well,
Not my favorite.
give her a little jingle.
I'm from Singapore. As we wait for my
really
lock
slow.
to cycle from her hair and toss him in the tide.
This song goes on forever.
It's his slow country ones that don't do it for me.
Yeah,
I don't think I would have left this off the very
5
best.
to 30
but
seconds.
It must.
This should be off of it, and Witch of Westmoreland should be on it.
Yeah.
You listen to that, right? It's a great song.
Yeah,
It's a
very
great
good
song. I would agree. I would easily take that song over this song. So, but this song must be popular enough that they felt they had to include it. So I don't know.
Yes.
You know, he had other ones that,
I
that
kind
they
of
left
like
off.
it, but do I think it should be 5 minutes and 30 seconds long? No, not at all.
Yeah, I was like, really? This is what I think what I meant earlier. I was like, this really? We're going around for like, there we go. And then there's
Like
another.
This could be a Gordy Lightfoot tune. It's just 5 minutes of someone telling a story, strumming their guitar with a bit of steel guitar in the background. Not for me so much. It doesn't have that Stan Rogers flavor as much.
It doesn't offend me, but I don't like it that much.
Mm.
I would definitely. It's a skip for me.
Bottom three on the
Yeah, same. All right, let's move on to the Genie C.
The Genie C. It's like it's okay.
Mhm.
It's another sea shanty about a ship. The Genie Sea, and she's out to sea, but it's a little long. I think the song, you know, it's
I apologize. I have this out of order.
Yeah, you do. I think Idiot's supposed to be next.
Actually, be the Idiot next.
Now, the Idiot is one of the best friggin' songs. This is the one I've been waiting to talk about.
I like the vocals of the song.
This is the one that's still so relevant to Nova Scotia today.
I turn my back on the cooling stacks and make for open ground.
This is what your grandmother and grandfather must have felt when they left the great land of Nova Scotia the first time. Amos.
that's what the song's about, like leaving the province.
It's about. Okay, so I'll tell you what this song's about. It's a great song. I'm an idiot, I suppose. So, it's another one of these songs about people from the east having to go out to now it's the oil fields, but it's about going out west to make some money. But he's the reason because he doesn't want to be on the dole. He doesn't want to take
I don't want to be one of those, he says. That's the lyric.
He doesn't want to, because that's a stereotype in Nova Scotia, because everything's so seasonal, everything's so feast or famine. So it's like people end up on the dole, but he doesn't want to be that because he wants to have more money than that as well.
Eamon, do you know what the dole is?
The dole? No, I don't.
That means you're on welfare.
You're on welfare.
That's like a slang for that.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So he doesn't want to be on the dole because he wants enough money to have freedom. He wants this freedom that money gives you. So he gets that. He goes out west and he gets the money and the freedom that allows, but he realizes or feels even while he's out there, he's not going to give up his newfound freedom and money. He's an idiot, he supposes, because he was actually happier being poor back in Nova Scotia. He misses the things Nova Scotia has. He misses the green and the rivers and the sea air and so that's why he's like, and that's why it makes me an idiot, I suppose. But because he's just not willing to take the dole. If he was willing to do that, he'd be happier back in Nova Scotia. But he's not. He's just like, he's not that kind of guy. So, but that's a thing a lot of Nova Scotians struggle with still to this day. Do I stay here and be happier, or do I go work in Fort McMurray
or Ontario? Yeah.
I've never made that choice. I left, but I came back pretty quick.
I don't know. I tempo of the song. It feels very fun.
It's great.
Yeah,
song.
like
I love
an
it.
idiot, I suppose. Yeah, like, it's fine. This is like a great bar
It's-
song. This is
Yeah.
like, you know, where everyone's singing along.
Maybe give us a few more seconds of the idiot. What do you think?
Yeah, go to like the middle of the song, Eamon, or
Life's no paradise, but it's better than lying down. All the streets
Yeah,
are
see.
clean and there's nothing green, and the hills are dirty brown. But
Mhm.
the government though will rot your soul back there in your hometown.
And there's
So
that.
bid
That's not
farewell
It will rot your
to
soul.
untrue. He's not wrong. See, this is
right.
this song brings up a lot of feelings for me. It's there may be no better song about the plight of Nova Scotia in the last 100 years.
Like when my dad
200
managed the Zellers in Sydney, Nova Scotia, like there was I just know there was a lot of unemployment. Like everyone on the baseball team was basically unemployed. You know.
Oh, when you think of Nova Scotia, like Cape Breton's the Nova Scotia of Nova Scotia. Like everything's even worse there.
It's like the Nova Scotia.
Colder.
More isolated, more rural.
Spring comes like a month later. It's
It's
not
even
that
colder.
much farther north. It's like, but it's in a different zone. Like, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
like
and that's kind of where Canso is. It's up there.
I lived there as a baby, but I don't remember it, so I don't feel like I've really been there.
about Cape
so-
Breton.
Yeah.
Yeah,
one day.
it is beautiful. There's no question.
Yeah, that was like where my parents lived at the time I was born, basically. So, but I was born in
yeah.
Halifax. But
Yeah, well, I don't want to be born in one of those rural Nova Scotian hospitals like I was.
well, I think that was the idea. Like, you're not gonna be born up there in Sydney. You're gonna be born in Halifax.
No,
So,
yeah.
we'll bring you down here. It was also because my dad was
You
working.
guys
long hours.
have a Sydney, Nova Scotia. Or
What's that?
you have a Sydney.
Australia?
Sorry, why were you guys saying Sydney?
Sydney, Nova Scotia. which
Sydney,
is
Nova
where
Scotia.
we were talking about how my parents lived there with me when I was.
Yeah,
a baby.
that's interesting. It's funny to me how many places I think about this a lot. I guess mainly in Ontario, but there's so many places in Canada that are named after famous like cities, or
like London, Ontario.
London, Ontario, Paris, Ontario, Sydney, Nova Scotia.
Sydney, Nova Scotia. Even Halifax is named after a city in England named
yeah.
Halifax.
Yeah,
So that's just
but it was named after, and then there was also the Lord Halifax during World War II. He was a
Yeah,
disgrace. They didn't
Like
like him.
most places a lot of places in Canada are named after like European
Places in
cities,
Britain.
mostly.
I think
mostly
to be
British
fair,
cities.
that's very true of America.
Like even New York, like York is named after Old York in England, right? So
Oh, this is New England,
yeah,
yeah,
and
yeah.
like New England, which was Boston.
well, yeah, New England.
Yeah, well, who
all
called-
the news.
It's like, you know, were you colonized by the Spanish or the Portuguese or
Nova Scotia is New Scotland.
Denmark or the Netherlands or
No one knows where Old Brunswick was, but New Brunswick is right next to it.
Old Brunswick.
No one cares about Old
Brunswick's-
Brunswick.
They might in Scotland.
Suck up the Janie C.
The Genie Sea. Play a little bit of that one.
Come on, you lads.
Starts really
draw
slow.
near to me,
But like, I like the chorus.
that I
get to that.
be not forsaken.
Like, hey.
Because that's the thing about
This
folk music.
day
Folk music
was
often doesn't
lost
even have the catchy
to
chorus. It's just the storytelling and the picking of the guitar. You know what I mean? That's when he's being more of a folky, but he just makes it better.
Yeah. So from that perspective, I like what he's doing with it, but it's good. It's not exactly my thing, but
It's a fine folk tune. It's the one when he brings in a lot. It's got
his
the
singing is so good.
Yeah.
Isn't that a good song? It's
No,
no,
it
that's
really draws you into it, out to the sea, and you're like, that's a good one, man. But like, it's not my favorite. It's not one I would normally play, but I don't mind. Like, I like the song, but it's not my favorite. It's
The
good.
stories still drive you in.
I agree.
Draw you in. That's the thing. The stories will still get you, even if the song.
This one was
doesn't.
moving a little too slow for me story wise. I was like,
Mm.
I ended up listening more to like just the musically. I found I was like sort of tuning out.
That's fair.
Mhm.
All right. On to The Fields Behind the Plow.
The Fields
My
Behind the
least
Plow.
favorite on the album.
This is your least favorite.
This is like the song for Saskatchewan. But then they mention like Nova Scotia, I feel like, in the end or something. Like,
Yeah.
it feels like it's another version of The Idiot, but like a sad version. Like, it takes a while. It's got a fiddle. It's not, you know.
And Emmett Pierce the other day.
It's just a bit more contemporary country.
This part's better.
You can see it coming on.
It's country. It's like his. It's one of his. Like, it's a very country.
Well, that's what he liked the most. Like, he was the guy who liked to listen to country. You know,
It's
Like,
definitely
that's how
unpopular.
he started off, apparently, like as a country kind of band, right? Like, you know, and then he got into this more. And like, I feel like they're not that different. It's just how you sort of sing a little bit is a little different. Some of the instruments are a little different, but they're not that unrelated, you know. And sometimes there's a tempo or whatever.
you know, some of the instruments are different. There is different, like, rhythms. There are definitely more like Celtic rhythms. In, like,
you can definitely
more,
tell
like,
them apart, but
Acadian
they're like,
rhythm,
it's like
you
they're
know.
cousins. They're like cousin music, you know.
Yeah.
Second
You
cousins,
take,
maybe even.
take out the steel guitar, add more fiddle.
Almost
Yeah.
the same. Hey,
More
how's this one for you?
energetic guitar playing. Like,
Pardon?
How's
Well,
this song for you?
I was it's underwhelming for me. I definitely think it's in the lower parts of the album. Like you guys
I would have left it off the album personally.
Yeah.
But
get rid of both those songs and put Witch of Westmoreland on here.
sure, I'm with you.
When we're done here, everyone just go listen to Stan Rogers.
I feel like this is the one that like I was listening to it with Jane. She's like, I feel like this is the one that we're in the middle of the album, and this is the one that everyone's like,
Can we skip
I guess
it?
we're- you know, this is a filler song. You know, it's like
Yeah, I know. I definitely know what you're talking about. The almost like second last track syndrome. I feel like that happens on a lot of albums where that's where you're
the penultimate song.
Yeah. Often a disappointment. Yeah, I agree.
All right, and then what's after this one? I'm done with this.
The
song.
actual penultimate song, but live.
No lies.
This is good. It's
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know how much I agree with the backordering on this album. I know it's a best up, but why are you putting so many slower albums?
well, it's a very best. It's meant to be like if you're a true fan, this would be the ultimate collection. Right?
I get that, but that's on pick. Why have we put the slower songs all at the end?
Well, I don't think that's what very bests are. I don't think they're for the true fans. They're for the people who aren't the true fans to make fans. But
they obviously are putting these songs in a certain order, you know, with the mind of a rhythm, but
But he, and that's the thing. This isn't an arrangement he put together. Which is why best ofs are skeptical as far as rating them as an album.
And posthumous best of, right? So
Yeah.
This is a good song. I think
I like this song too. You know, I picked this album because I just wanted to kind of get like a lot of my favorite songs by him in. So versus one of his live albums or you know a specific one he produced. But
it was a fine choice. If it just had Witch of Westmoreland, I wouldn't have said anything about the choice.
But we listened to it anyway, so you know it's
you guys listen to it.
Mix.
It's good.
Maybe we should give the people a little clip of it anyway.
Eamon and I listened to it before the show, but you know,
why for this?
Maybe we should do it now before we get to the end song.
Okay, yeah, all right.
All right.
Have it.
And you guys, after the fact, maybe go listen to the original and see the difference by Archie Fisher. Oh, but he just
have a detour to talk about
the
this
music is good. This song is so good.
Yep.
This is my favorite Stan Rogers song. Like
so. Here,
maybe Northwest Passwords too, but God, this song's good. And it's like this is a hard one. Like this is a weird strumming pattern. This is a hard one to play.
Well, they mention a Rowan shield, which Eamon's mother's last name's Rowan, right? So
Oh.
kind of fun.
Never clean your wound.
Give it another second.
Westmoreland.
Like, I think Archie Fisher wrote this for like one of the original Ren fairs.
I gotta
in
listen
the
to this
70s.
Archie version just to know what the
Yeah.
comparison is.
You'll see what I mean. Like halfway through the Archie version, you'll wish you were listening.
I
to
really
this
like
song.
this song now. I'm glad you got to hear it. I'm just gonna skip ahead a bit.
That's the thing about Stan. He just gets more and more into his song. And by the end, it's Archie.
Yeah, but it's always by the build, right? You have
Oh
to
yeah,
sort of go.
he does that with everything.
Bring me the maiden fair. Yeah, that's, it's great.
Mhm.
Like,
Oh yeah, good song, man. I
Anyway,
love that song. I'm glad we listened to that.
get back on route to
Yeah.
get back on track, Eamon. Get us back on track.
Yeah, that's why.
back on track
Yeah.
to the Mary Ellen Carter.
Another boat.
This is how they end the album. I think it's a perfect choice to end with this song.
I think
It's a perfect bookend with Fogarty's Cove as the opener.
Yeah.
because it's very similar in that it really has the kind of like that.
I actually only heard the song for the first time when it was covered by Natalie McMaster, the famous fiddler,
Yeah.
and her famous
Cape Breton
kids.
fiddler.
They were down here in Burlington playing the festival. And then they
She's a
played
great
the
fiddler.
song.
The skipper, he'd been drinking, and the mate, he felt no pain. Too
really
close
good
to
song to end the song on, and I just feel like
This is a true story too,
One
apparently.
of my
This song.
favorite performances from from Stan himself, actually. In terms
song?
of goes, rise again.
Rise again.
That's a
rise
Rankin family song.
Yeah. Just very
Uh,
powerful.
Well, yeah, that is a Rankin. That'd be interesting to cover a Rankin family album one day. But and I totally would.
You might not
My
pull
mom.
me in for that one. That's
Or even Ed Murray. Or
Ed
Rita
Murray.
McNeil. We'll get
Hey.
them all going.
Okay, look, I'm not a big Anne Murray fan. I'll admit I don't really like her voice. Rita McNeil is a great and beautiful woman. No one will ever speak ill of
Of Rita
Rita
McNeil. I like Anne
McNeil.
Murray in small doses, and
Rita McNeil. Could sing anything. She's just
Who
a
are-
powerhouse.
I don't know.
great
who's-
musicians have come out of Nova Scotia, like Sarah McLachlan and many
Mostly
others.
Cape Breton, but
Mostly.
yeah.
Sarah
McLachlan's
McLachlan from
Cape
Halifax,
Breton.
though.
Yeah, she's from Halifax.
Anyway, but yeah, the Mary Ellen Carter. This is a true story, Eamon. Not, it's a little bit fictionalized in some or embellished apparently, but
Like any good Klingon tale.
yeah,
You're
Yeah, but
telling
like-
it exactly as it happened. You're not even trying.
the story, like she went down last October, and the mate, he felt like the captain and the first mate are drunk, like they're screwed. The ship sinks, and how much they loved this ship, and then they tried to, like, we could get her out, we could pull her out of the water, and then they go to the guys who own the ship and they just laugh at them and the insurance money. Like, everything with the song is so amazing and great, and it's I think one of his this is now maybe one of my favorites. I love
great.
so many of these songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, now you're booming.
Now you're booming. Hold on, I'll fix it. With the
Your mic's all over the place tonight, Eamon.
Yeah, sorry. I need to fix the cable on my I need to I say fix. I need to buy a new cable for my XLR mic.
I have an extra one too if you need it. So.
Okay, cool.
Do you feel more Nova Scotian after listening to this album, Eamon?
Yes, absolutely.
Your roots, your heritage. This
Your
is where
Even though you weren't
not really
born
my
here,
heritage, because
Is a lot of these
I
Stan
spent
Rogers songs.
all of 2 months in Nova Scotia before.
he's one of the first Maders to be born outside of Nova Scotia, except for his grandfather who was born in Ottawa. But that's a long story. But but yeah, like Eamon, you did visit Nova Scotia for a couple weeks when we went for my cousin Natalie's wedding.
I remember that. That was a lot of fun. I remember that.
That was like in 2010. So you haven't been there since 2010.
Yeah, no, it was a fun time. I remember that with the greens. That was a whole ton of fun.
Exactly. My cousins are same age as Eamon. So
Come down this summer. We can have a time.
Well,
yeah, we'll have to go. We have to go out to the Mader's Cove, Eamon.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Always trying to get me in Ontario for hockey tournaments. Get here
All
for
right.
heritage
So
moments.
I won't forget this time. Favorite, least favorite song, because I've been forgetting it the past couple episodes.
Oh, that's a good one.
In terms of
Favorite song?
for me, I'm gonna have to go with Northwest Passage. I know it's probably not the song
It's the
you
right
guys might
pick.
but
It's the right pick, man.
yeah, it is the right pick.
I want to go last. Davan, you pick next.
We're just going favorite picks.
Yeah, right
favorite
now.
song on the album. So you can't have your Witch of Westmoreland. It's done.
Damn it! All right, so I can't pick Witch of Westmoreland.
Well, we know you
I mean,
would.
it's
You know you
Northwest
would if it was
Passage,
on the
man.
album, but it's not.
But if I want to pick, it is Northwest Passage. But
Yeah,
if I'm
okay, yeah.
gonna pick something different than Eamon,
Pick something else.
I would probably pick The Idiot.
You would probably pick what?
The Idiot.
Oh yeah, that's fair. Okay, and Dad?
You guys aren't gonna like it, but my favorite song on this album, and a song I listen to repeatedly
White Squall.
White Squall is it's 45 years.
White
I
Squall
can't
will be
believe
mine.
it's 45 years. I can't believe
Yeah,
it.
believe it.
It's my
I
favorite
can't
song
believe
right
it.
now, okay, because I only rediscovered it recently.
Yeah, fair.
So
Right.
but I feel like over time, I might not be so enamored with it, and I might say it's White Squall is my
Okay, yeah.
actual choice.
White Squall will be my runner-up.
Yeah. Because White Squall, I've ran over and over again to that song. That song holds up a lot. Is it something I just because I have to really love the song to want to run to it. So it's if the more I like it, the more. And I do run a lot to the Mary Ellen Carter as well.
That's fair.
So
I run to the Witch of Westmoreland a lot, and even North.
I feel like I will now. I think I'm gonna get it and add it to my playlist. So
My least favorite song for this is Lockkeeper.
Lockkeeper. Yeah, that was not a strong one.
No, way too long for its own good. That's my main problem with it.
Yeah, I think we're pretty in sync here, Eamon. I would have
Brad?
to agree.
Lockkeeper for you too.
Mhm. What was that other one actually that we called a skipper near the
I'd say
end?
the Fields in the Plow.
Yeah,
Behind
that's
that
the one.
one, yeah.
It's not Lockkeeper. It's the fields in the plot behind the.
Okay,
plow.
I'm gonna
the
go with the
plow.
Lockkeeper because personally, I'm just too much of a sucker for fiddle to say Fields. But yeah, I get it.
Yeah, this one was like, when is this song going to be over? And
I feel that way about both those songs, though.
Yeah.
and I don't. I guess my next least favorite is probably like something like the last, the Genie Sea or something like that. So, but
All right.
There we have it. Stan Rogers. Get to see Air India.
oh, you got it.
We were down at the beach. We're listening to the waves crash just today.
So, we only have one guest for some reason. I don't know when this. Oh, okay, we got this reform.
I fixed it.
Okay, cool. So musically, I will pick. I'll give it I'll give it an 8.5. It's very solid overall, but there's some dud songs.
Musically, so I'm next.
Sorry.
It's a 9.
Yeah, that's fair. And then
Yeah.
Davan.
It's a 9. Drop Lockkeeper for Witch of Westmoreland, and it's a 10.
Okay.
But without Witch of Westmoreland, this is not the best of Stan Rogers.
Yeah, like if you left
Even
out
though
the
he didn't
Fields-
write it. That's
Even
why
if
it's
you-
not on there.
even if you just left off a couple of like these more forgettable songs, I feel like it would be a 10 for me.
They're not even songs I'm familiar. I think are like particularly like iconic to him.
They just must be
No, they're
popular
not.
with a certain set of his fans, right? So,
Well, country fans.
Lyrically, I think that this is like an 8.
Oh, geez. Lyrically, he's a 10.
lyrically, it's a 10. 10.
It's an easy 10. Like, what do you want? What more do you want? Poetic storytelling. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, I can't complain about it. It's
what
amazing
draws you in.
songwriting. It's
Even if the music's not
feels
there.
like he's
like-
just very good at writing stories, and yeah. Pacing wise, I think this is a 7. I think that a lot of these songs on this album are too slow and last
Yes.
too long, especially.
See,
in the
but like
second half.
that's the thing. I almost refuse to answer a pacing question on a best of. It's
Because
not
he
the
didn't-
point.
That's a
Because he
fair
didn't-
point. If you want to answer it, I can leave it blank.
Yeah. I don't want to answer that on a best of. It's not his fault.
So just delete it.
That's fair.
Won't factor it into the rating.
Yeah.
I'll give a pacing thing because I ended up buying like a lot of these songs off this album when I had iTunes. So you do listen to this in the order that they presented it in, but I get that, he didn't specifically put this album out. I would say it's an 8 for me. It's pretty
For
good.
best
but
of, the pacing's not bad.
it's not
It could
bad.
be a lot worse. I get that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just the pacing of like 2 songs we don't really like.
Yeah, and but like they did like they have the Fogarty's Cove and end with the Marilyn Carter.
Fogarty, it's pronounced Fogarty.
Yeah.
Fogarty,
Pretty good.
that song, and then the last one, right? So
I mean, if you want to put in a number, then fine. I would say 8 like you, but it's just it leaves a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth. It's not. Yeah.
I will say that I will give this the visuals of this album. I'll give like an 8.
Now, this one,
I think
do
it's a strong
refuse to
cover,
answer.
and I think that the stories it tells give you a very interesting visual idea, like in a mental sense, like what it makes you think of, the images it makes you think of.
Here's my mini rant. I think you guys need to strike visuals from the chart and just talk about the visuals at the start of the show because it has nothing to do with music. And it
I disagree.
brings down.
Music's best part is when it's combined with visuals.
well, it's okay. I'm
What?
okay.
What about
I'm okay,
radio?
I'm okay with it being one category amongst many. And so so I think it's okay. It's like 6 for me.
Okay. Evan,
See, like, yeah, okay, fine.
you want me to leave it the blank?
Oh, for me, definitely. I can't
for
have
me-
it
for production.
sour.
Because an album
But
is
overall.
like a movie. It's not just about the story.
But it's not.
but it is.
Like, do you
It's like-
stare at the album cover when you're listening to an album? Never. The answer
Some
is
people
no,
do.
never.
No, that's
yeah,
definitely
every
they
time I'm
don't.
in the car and I'm listening to the song and it shows me the album cover right there.
You're
on my
staring
phone.
at it instead of the road.
Staring at it, no, but looking at
No,
it.
but
yes.
people who listen to albums, they definitely look at the cover intentionally when they're
or
listening.
that's the visual
definitely
that comes
something
up
people do.
when the album's played.
Yeah, I
Plus,
get
like,
it.
a lot of albums used to have like things you could take out and look at, maps.
Yes.
and
Yes, they did, but now
They
they
did.
don't.
now they don't. But this is more vintage. So
Well, this one isn't.
This one isn't.
This
This is
came out in
2011.
like 20.
I'm at the
13 or
podcast.
some shit.
Uh,
Oh.
so did I give a okay?
For
Are we on the last
production.
category? Production. Well, these songs like it's hard to even tell which songs are live and which songs are studio, other than the ones that have applause in them.
Right.
So,
That's pretty impressive.
So that's pretty good. I'd say that the production is strong on this. I would go. Why not 10? Like, why would I don't. There's nothing I want to take out of it.
Yeah,
So
that's fair.
Well, that's the thing. It's got 30 years of post production.
Yeah. So
it's like
it deserves
better
that
be
10.
good.
Yeah.
But yeah, like even the live ones, they don't come off as like clearly from another recording studio
Yeah,
place.
you don't distinguish. Oh, that this is a completely different thing.
No.
You know, so
Yep.
So I guess they did do that well. Come to think of it. So yeah, I'll take a 10 on that one.
All right.
So is that all the ratings?
Yes, we have a total of. Let's see here.
8.4.
7.9, 8.6, and 9.3 for a combined total of 8.4.
Davan gave us 9.3 average. Yeah, I have an 8.6. Eamon at the lower end at 7.9. So yeah, 8.4. A
I
little
definitely
less.
was the most critical of this album, I think.
Well, it's at least you liked it. So
Like I don't know what
It's hardly a bad album.
don't know what 10 lyrics would look like to you if this is an 8. I will say that. Like
yeah. What would 10? What do you have to be for
like
10?
if you say the Beatles is 10 lyrics, I will smash my head off the
Has he ever?
table.
Has he only gave 110 to lyric to no wait to
It's
lyrics.
probably that silly thing Murphy had him listen to.
The only
like,
lyrics he ever
what
gave a
was-
10 to were the Pretty Hate Machine on Nine Inch
Oh,
Nails.
yeah.
Nine
I
Inch
like
Na-
the
Trent
lyrics
Reznor's
on,
a 10
Pretty
and
Hate.
He's
Stan
his favorite
Rogers.
lyricist ever. So
There were definitely some
Okay.
decisions that when I look back at earlier episodes, I'm like, what was I thinking when I gave it this rating?
you're in the moment. You're in the moment.
Yeah.
Like I'll admit, I actually feel icky about rating music in this way. I don't mind doing it with shows; it just makes sense to me. But rating music in
That's fair.
numbers bothers me, kind of.
No, that's fair, I guess.
I think there's there's got to be a better way.
There
See,
might be.
aiming on track season 2, I think
We'll figure it
could be
out.
something.
Yeah,
it
we'll
could be
figure something. Anyways, we are part of a United Federation of podcasts
True.
with
True.
shows such as Super Mario Brothers podcast. How's that going?
Going strong. We are doing Survivor 46 right now.
They are brothers.
We are brothers. I don't have my soundboard open.
Oh.
Let's see here.
We are brothers.
Great.
We are cousins.
I don't have that one.
Oh,
Hold up. What's going on this week for Hold Up?
well, we're every 3 weeks now instead of every 2. Yeah, adding the second baby made watching 3 movies in a 2-week span
That's
more
fair.
difficult, especially to sneak in as much like Star Trek as I want to still watch.
Yeah. But
I
anyway,
can't watch 3 movies, but I can still sneak in 3 seasons of Deep Space Nine. But that's neither here nor there. We just talked about martial arts movies. Go, let's do it. It's pretty hilarious. My buddy Chow shows up in. Well, you know what? Watch that episode. He shows up in a costume. It adds to the episode, I will say.
all right.
What's up next?
any Mary Maid or Marvel
sports movies. Sports movies
Oh,
next with Kevin
sorry.
Millard.
Yes, excellent. Mary Maid or Marvel Society. Is anything happening there?
Geez, what's in the Marvel world? Next things
I
up
guess
is like
Deadpool.
oh,
Deadpool.
yeah, because
In the
the
summer.
next
though.
thing
We got-
Marvel wise is X-Men, but check that out on a different show.
Yes.
Good segue.
Need to talk about
Yeah.
X-rated and X-Men podcast.
That's where we talk about
Um,
X-Men 97.
We
We're the
last
place to
week
be.
we did a reading for a script.
We certainly did, written by Robert N. Skier of X-Men TAS, Gargoyles, many other things fame.
Mhm.
And
I
I'm
liked
doing
it.
the
It was
edits
pretty
now.
fun.
I'm about half hour into the edits. It was good fun.
And you
It's a
got
good script.
you got the X-Men 97 hitting soon, right?
On my birthday
first episode, the continuation
first
of the original
two.
cartoon.
episodes.
What do
First
you
2
think
episodes are
about
dropping on my birthday.
that? Do you think it looks good?
Oh my god, I think it looks mind-bogglingly good. It's again, don't listen to anyone who's obsessed with like Rogue's butt or some stupid shit on the internet. Like just tune out the internet. Tune out the people who think the animation looks bad on this new one because they don't remember the old show. I just reviewed every episode of it. The animation is crisp.
It's
and
fresh. You know.
beautiful, and
If
it
anybody
flows.
knows, it's you.
We are the
Andre.
experts. And X-Rated, join us on our page like lots of people are doing right now.
just had
We're
George
where the cool
Booza
kids
on.
hang out. We just had George Booza on. We talked about lots of things. Talked about Turner Edison,
Yeah, from Maniac Mansion.
the Maniac Mansion. Yeah, it was fun. We talked for 2 hours with
um,
George. It was a good time.
I guess this is the newest person in the Federation.
Oh,
hey,
right.
did you see this one?
Hey,
Right,
did you see
yeah.
this one with Steven and Jason?
A couple of young
they-
cadets in
Yep.
our federation.
Yeah, newest members of the Federation.
Yeah.
But they have their own podcast going for some time now.
Yeah.
Where
got-
they talk about movies. They talk about they break down more of a singular movie versus like the Hold Up, which is more of a theme, 3 movies and
Mhm.
all that.
It adds to our movie brand. Hold Up and Hey, did you see this one? Is a good double smash of
It's pretty good.
movies.
One,
Just like
two punch.
the 1-2 punch of X-Rated and the Graphic Histories podcast.
Mm-hmm.
There's got to be the 2 hottest, coolest comics related
History.
podcasts
True.
going right now.
A lot going on.
And both feature Andre Mayette, but don't let that go to his head.
I actually don't see the graphic history. But
I don't.
but
I don't
he-
think I have it. I don't have it loaded up in
Oh,
your brand.
yeah, okay.
Well,
anyways, we also have
I'll throw that up here.
Hellbound
Hellbound.
with Alex Blackburn and Michael Chang. Horror
Yeah.
themed
Chan.
podcast. Chan.
Yeah. Sometimes Jessica Chan.
Pretty fun. Great production values. Really good. Recommend
All
it.
right, here. There's the graphic history image for you.
There you go.
And he just had Eric Larson on, probably perhaps the biggest get yet for the show, who's the creator of Image Comics and Savage Dragon.
I thought
famed
that.
Spider-Man artist and many other things.
Yeah, interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I think that's about it. All right. This has been Eamon on Track. I'm Eamon.
I'm Dave.
And I'm between the breaks.
And we'll see you back on track.
God damn.